Nelson Mandela quoted, "The new world that is in the making must focus on the creation of a world of democracy, peace, and prosperity." Good morning. Today, on behalf of the Goenkan fraternity, I, Samya Chauhan of Class 12C,
and I, Evan Mendirata, welcome everyone on this felicitous day of GDG eMUN 5th edition, on the theme of Novus Ordo Seclorum towards a new world order. This year's edition is based on the topics related to the COVID crisis and the ongoing topics that will change the world order. Now let us begin the ceremony via visual lamp lighting. ज्यो तिल माही तेल है, ज्यो चकमक में आग, तेरा साईं तुझी में है, जाग सके तो जाग। कबीर दास जी कहते हैं कि जैसे तिल के अंदर तेल होता है और आग के अंदर रोशनी होती है, वैसे ही हमारा ईश्वर हमारे अंदर ही विद्यमान है। अगर ढूंढ सको तो ढूंढ लो। लैम्प लाइटिंग is a traditional ritual in India. Every auspicious day begins with the lighting of a lamp. May we all get enlightened with good knowledge, health, prosperity through this ceremony. May God shower all His blessings on us. We are inaugurating the ceremony and lighting the lamp on this auspicious occasion.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः। शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः। शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते, दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते। शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः।
Now, let us get introduced to this year's edition of GDG eMUN. This year's Model UN Conference is based on current issues like COVID-19, Hong Kong issue, etc. And how is that going to change the world's order? Hence the name Towards a New World Order. It is quite established that COVID-19 has changed the world a lot this year, and GDG eMUN explores how and the solutions to the new world issues. Model United Nations are a way through which United Nations can be channeled at a more ground level, not only because it boosts confidence, speaking skills, and teamwork capabilities of a delegate, preparing them for the future, but it also encourages other students to talk about the world issues based on the guidelines of United Nations. It helps them work towards solving challenging world issues. It helps them form opinions on these topics and mold their ideology. This year, there are 5 different committees with varied agendas, they being United Nations General Assembly on Weaponization of Social Media, United Nations Human Rights Council on promoting the rights of women and children in conflict-prone areas with special deliberation over the Israel-Palestine conflict, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change on Global Climate Discussion, emphasis on plastic pollution and carbon emission, the Group of 7 on the situation in Hong Kong. All India political parties meet on analyzing the fault lines in vaccination deficiency and procedures and assessing the roadmap for healthcare in a fully vaccinated India.
some words leave us all hushed, while some lead to the commencement of zeal and initiative. Every proceeding requires a unifier and a prod. Integration is like a stitch to a flannel, which is like a rootless warrior if not in sync with guidance. Hereby, I would like to welcome Honorable Principal Ma'am to enunciate a few words.
A warm welcome to all to the fifth chapter of Model United Nations GDGPS 21-22. The growth and development of people is the highest calling of leadership, and COVID-19 pandemic has pushed all governments across the globe to deploy unprecedented policy measures to support people and their livelihood. The pandemic has significantly reshaped the global economy, geopolitical boundaries, and political hierarchies. It has created imbalances in critical sectors like health, education, and employment. There is an unpredictability regarding the changes we are seeing today. A new normal for every aspect of our lives, personal, professional, and social, is being seen. Few of these changes will remain permanent, like the increasing dependency on technology. But I believe the need of the hour is to focus on developing skills in this VUCA world: volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Today, when all of you represent various countries as delegates, remember to not just think about solutions which address the immediate need, but also incorporate the changing context. I believe Model United Nations is a platform that helps the representatives to develop conflict resolution and cooperation skills, and it also hones the leadership skills. I wish all the participants the very best for a meaningful and an educational simulation. God bless you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Those words enunciated the very significance of this day. Now, we have a visual treat made by the amazingly talented cinematographers at GD Goenka Model Town to introduce you to the GDG eMUN 2021.
Rolling like a big shot, Chevy tuned up like a NASCAR pit stop. Fresh paint job, fresh inside, with the outside frame and the trunk wide. On the wheels big, do it ride good. Lean back, right hand on the power. Cream on the inside, clean on the outside. Ice cream, ice cream. Clean on the outside, cream on the inside. Ice cream paint job. Got screens on the dash, I can save by the bill. Got a house by the bayside. Yeah, I'm living like that. And I'm riding like that.
That indeed was put up by an ally of apt individuals that left us all in a gape. The term leadership is something that every individual defines in his or her manner. Warren Bennis says, leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality, while General Montgomery defines leadership as the capacity to rally men and women to a common purpose, and the character that inspires confidence. Forthwith, we have our Director General for this year's conference, Bhavika Keshwani.
Quoting Shashi Tharoor, it's better to have one single place where nations all over the world can ambush each other with mere words, with heated arguments and with negotiations, rather than castigate each other on the battleground. Very warm greetings to each and every one of you who is going to be joining us through these 2 days of rigorous debate, diplomacy and excellence at GDG eModel United Nations. eMUN is not just a simulation of the United Nations. It's a platform for young change makers to establish prominent social problems which would later stem into developmental problems and have a solution-oriented approach towards each and every one of them. We are delighted to host over 200 delegates this year at the 5th edition of the GDG Model United Nations. It gives me immense pride to introduce the Executive Board for this year's conference 2021. The UNGA, chaired by Mr. Mansanjam Singh and Mr. Simar Bedi. The UNHRC, chaired by Mr. Dhruv Jain and Vice Chairperson Mr. Abhimanyu Patania. The UNFCCC, chaired by Mr. Abhishek Bindal and Vice Chairperson Mr. Yajur Mahajan. The G7, which is a crisis committee, chaired by the Honorable Mr. Shayar Majumdar and Vice Chairperson Ms. Mahi Gupta. The AIPPM, moderated by Mr. Kaushal Singh and Deputy Moderator Ms. Charita Singh. Seeing all of you here is a timely reminder that we, as the Gen Z, exist to break decade-old social issues with an intersectional approach towards each and every one of them. It gives me immense pride to be a part of this platform and to be a part of your hearsay throughout the course of the entire conference 2021. That being said, in the true spirit of the Model United Nations, I hereby declare this conference open. Thank you.